My catalog of drums, kicks, and snares was industry sounds. So when I made something, it sounded like it was something off the radio. And he didn't like that. So he made things very uncomfortable for me over there. I had brought equipment in there. I had brought my sound library in there. He copied all my sounds and still couldn't use them because he didn't know what to do with them. And I was working at Unity, and that's when I ran into Daryl Foster. Daryl Foster was a genius. He knew that O1W better than anybody, and he knew theory, and he knew chord, and he knew harmonies, and he knew techniques, all the stuff that I didn't know. So working with Daryl Foster kind of stepped my game up like tremendously. And then he took me to his manager, who was Bob Dickerson. Bob said, I got these two girls I'm producing. I'm managing them right now. I want you to check them out. I went over there, and in the studio was Kristen A and Sharon Collins. Kristen A was writing for Sharon, and they was going over the harmonies for Sharon's song because they were both solo artists, but they were working on each other's project. He called me in for a meeting the next day and said, hey, so what you think? I said, why don't you have them in a group? They're already singing on each other's stuff. Why don't you have them in a group? I did a song called Relax. Kristen A met me at Bates Brothers. I gave her a cassette. She took it home and she wrote to it. This is when we moved to Centerpoint, and we are at On Track Studios. And we recorded Relax. And I did something that I didn't ever do before, but it was something that Daryl Foster suggested I do. It's how to record backgrounds. He said, get them in there as a group and let them record together twice. So you have a left and a right of them as a group singing. Then put them back in individually and have them sing their parts. And he said this way, so if Kristen A is not loud enough, you can push your voice up individually and control it. And it's one of those hood tricks that you learn in the studio. But I didn't know it. And it made their background sound so much bigger. From that, Bob said, hey, how much would it cost for me to put you on salary? And he started paying. I told him I needed this much money and a beeper. As you can see, I was not business savvy at all. I wanted some money to go buy video games and have a beeper so I could look like I was somebody. But from that, Black and Myld became a thing. So much so that they started opening up for majors, and whew, from the industry stuff, I got picked up because of Black and Myld. Because Jermaine Dupri was having problems with Exscape. So his plan was to replace them with Black and Myld. So I was working with Jermaine Dupri. I was working under a gentleman by the name Emanuel Seal. And Emanuel Seal was head producer pretty much for So Deaf. So I came in as a ghost producer. I got paid a salary of $5,000 a week. And I had an expense account of $3,000 a month. And all I could do was produce on things that Emanuel Seal wanted to work on. First one was this group called Mr. Blackberry Molasses. So worked on that with him. Then the next one was the Soul Functified remix by the Brat. From that, we did Sounds of Blackness. We worked on some stuff from Mariah Carey. And I'm learning so much from this, from being there. And then, the people that brought me out to Atlanta was Tim Barnwell, headliner of Arrested Development. So I got to do a remix for Mr. Wendell. From that, my boo, I worked on that with Ghost Town DJs. Remix to Who Can I Run To by Exscape. And most of the time, that was my forte with remixes. It was the reason that Motown wanted to sign me as a remix producer. And DJ Supreme was the one who tried to set that up for me, because he gave me the opportunity to work on a remix for Jason Weaver and the Rascals, which was what's his name, DJ from Naughty by Nature, his cousins. I had started gaining all that experience. My manager stole my money, over $700,000. After she did that, I just came back and I couldn't trust nobody. Because, you know what I'm saying, what I thought people were supposed to do in the industry, I was completely wrong. My manager had me working as if I worked for her and not the other way around. And no one ever told me otherwise. When she took my money, it was no way I could fight it because I gave her power of attorney. Even though it was ill-gotten means, you know, from the tree, the way she did it, it was nothing legally and financially I could do about it. I was looking at down Periscope on TV. My mom said, you have to do something. You got to get out. You got to get up and do something. So I called the Navy recruiter. He came and talked to me. I said, yeah, when can we go take the test? Took the test. He was like, well, you know, you can do this. I said, no, just when can I leave? And he set it up. I went to boot camp, went to the Navy, became a bosun's mate. They lost me at sea for 3 days in Alaska. Had problems with the hypothermia and everything, and the cuts and bites from seals and things more. And yeah, they let me out, honorable discharge and stuff, so I can take care of my mom because she was fighting breast cancer at that time, and my younger brother was in college playing football. All these things has happened like in a short time. So this is where the idea of me performing comes from. I had a little shorty up in Seattle, so I moved back to Seattle. Me and young lady got married. And at this time, me, Jazz, and Kismic was thinking about doing a album, working together as a group. They were gonna do the singing, I was gonna do the hype, whatever, rap every now and then. But Kismic won the lotto. Literally won the lotto and went and bought a trucking company and started, you know, living her life. Carmen came and moved in with me so we could do work. And then we decided we were going to be a production team. The problem is nobody knows who we are. And we couldn't get nobody to want to do anything with us. So she came up with the brilliant idea. Let's do an EP. Put it out. Me, you do an EP. People will hear it, wonder who did the production, and then they'll want to hire us to do it. Not a bad idea. Cool. Let's do it. Did 4 songs. 4 songs came out bumping. Because I was heavy on my Timberland by then. They have this thing up in Seattle called The Stranger. It's a musician, it's an artist magazine, but it's a newspaper. And in the back of it, it has all these different things, shows, places that they want you to perform and stuff like that. Every year they have the equivalent of city stages in Seattle called the Bite of Seattle. But they have vendors and food trucks out there selling all kind of food. And they have up to like 15 stages going at one time. So as we're working on this and trying to get this project together. She say I submitted us a I submitted us to be on the Bite of Seattle. I need you to help me put the song together from us because we had a neo soul night that we did every Thursday night. And she said, I need you to help me put the background vocals on it so it sounds like we're in the club. She sent it in. And then they wrote us back and said, yeah, we want y'all to come perform. We didn't have band at first. So I went to work and I was like, man, I'm on the Bite of Seattle, but I ain't got no band. So the bass player from work, the drummer from work, the keyboardist from my pro audio department, the guitar players from the guitar department, and another sound guy who was a DJ. He was the DJ for the show. So I got this all white band that I got to get together to play hip hop, R&B, neo soul style music. And they looking at me, what the one mean? We did the show and we didn't expect nothing. We just thought it'd be a good thing so we could show. And we had the guitar bass player, the keyboard player girlfriend on side stage video it. So we was gonna use that to try to get most stuff. Soon as we got off stage, every club owner in the city approached us. From that, we started doing shows around the city, up and down the West Coast. And the guys in our band was showing us everything about NACA, how to find sponsorship. She got Baby Fat sponsorship. I got FUBU sponsorship. I went and talked to the rep at Guitar Center over Shure, and he gave us in-ears and microphones for tour. I went and talked to this jewelry store. My cousin, Corbin Robinson, played for the Seahawks, wide receiver, where he gets his from. I went and said, hey man, I'm gonna go on the road. You think you can give me a couple of pieces to go on the road? He said, you gonna pay for the insurance? I said, yeah, I'll pay for the insurance. So I had diamonds and bracelets and watches and rings. And that's where the nickname Mr. Bling Bling came from. So again, us doing the CD was so we can get more jobs producing, not become a group. It backfired and we became a group. Got a record deal, put out the first little album, which was Both Sides of the Truth, me and her. What happened was, it did so well, she got a gig in Florida doing backgrounds for New Edition. I was left with the bag of finishing off the album. We need a record. Well, she ain't in the, we need a record. You can give us a record. I'm not a rapper. He rapped on the songs on the other album. I produced my album. It was 9 songs. It was called It's Your Move. I had some of the local guys that was rapping, Big Will, and I had Brother Brown. I had Brother Brown on there, and DJ Ray Swift helped me put it together. So none of those songs you heard. I don't think anybody heard those songs. But it was my first introduction to being solo. That's how I became solo. I moved back to Birmingham, and my mom was having another bout with breast cancer. So I was home taking care of her, and I ran into Schoolie Escobar at Foot Locker. He sold me one of his CDs. I heard it, and it urged me to, you can do it here. Yeah, you can do it. Do it on your own. Get some stuff off your chest. So I got with him. He did a couple of songs for me. The title track, Meet Me in the Dirty, and Live Life to the Fullest. His boy Ghost wrote for me on Living Life. He gave it to me and recorded it, gave me the words, and I recorded it in my way. with my energy. Meet Me in the Dirty, same thing, recorded it with my energy. Once I got those, I got Nick Paul. And Nick Paul kind of helped me understand my writing scheme and how to write for me and how to do this. After Nick Paul, I ran back into you. And from that, I asked you, would you do a song with me? You was like, yeah. And I was terrified to death. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna write with this? How am I gonna write with this dude? How, man, I'm just asking for a beating right now. And I wrote something, then I reached out to Nick Paul, and he gave me some pointers on how to clean up what I had. And then when you came in, you heard the track. Yeah, you heard it that day, and you was like, yeah, okay, I got it. And then when you came back and you recorded, I was like, oh, I'm so happy you going live. I'm like, I'm so happy you going last. That album, I had you, I had Nick Paul, I had the group Major on there with Uzi and them. I had who else? I had Big Boy, Disaster. He was on there. So you know what I'm saying? I had some monsters beside me that made that album sound, Meet Me in the Dirty, sound as good as it was. But that was the beginning of me becoming an artist, and then my stage show had to change because I was so used to being with a band. I had to start learning how to perform by myself. And what eased that, what fixed it, was you introducing me to Drizzy Dro, the 1-800 freestyle king. We moved into the same complex. Well, I moved into his apartment complex, and he would be up in my Lock. What you doing? Hey man, I was thinking about this last night. Lock, what you doing? And he was the one who forced me to do Future Soul. The first solo album was It's Your Move. The second album was Meet Me in the Dirty. Third album is Future Soul. The fourth album is Diary. And the fifth album is the finale. Artists that I worked with when I got back starting was T-Man. I did a project with him. I worked with, at that time, Jaya. I worked with her on her EP. I have her album done, but we just never released it, which we were trying to fix this year. Also, I was working with Siobhan Clapp. She sung on Keep It Real, and I did a song for her. After working with her, I worked with Drizzy Dro. After working with Drizzy, I worked with Disaster, K Flip out of Montgomery. We started doing some other production, neo soul stuff for a guy by the name of Adrian Sims out of Mobile. Jazz, I did her EP, which is called It's Complicated. After that, I worked with Deirdre Gaddis, will be the most recent one. You have to be so hungry for this that you're doing things that normally you wouldn't do. I knew I was a producer when I watched Sister Act 2. And there was a scene between Whoopi Goldberg and Lauryn Hill where she said it was a writer that asked this author, how do I become a writer like you? He said, if you go home and you wake up tomorrow and you think about doing nothing but writing, you're a writer. I went to sleep, I woke up, and the first thing I thought about was, man, I can sample this Gerald Gardner piano part and put it with this big beat sample, and I'm a producer. So I have to focus in and learn everything I need to know about what it is that I want to be in life. I look at my legacy as blessed because to be who I am and be where I'm from, to do what I have done, seems like a dream.